there guys, it's Salis and welcome to Furi. A game I can only assume is named after the emotion it's intended to evoke, albeit spelled wrong. This game was recently released for PC and it was also in July's PlayStation Plus free game, so guess what we're playing it on? Yes, that's right, the one I didn't have to pay for, strictly speaking. Furi is a game about cutscenes and boss fights and nothing else. It is boss fight after boss fight after boss fight after boss fight, and it is hard as hell. The first boss must have took me about an hour and a half with constant repeats. But the second level boss, oh my god. I played until at 4 AM trying to beat the second level boss. And considering that's the only enemy you face, that says quite a lot. And the bosses have a lot of phases in them, and I'll show you that when we get into gameplay. But from what I've been able to gather of the story thus far, it's kind of given to you piecemeal as you beat a boss, but it's not given to you very clearly. You're told it by that mysterious floating person in the bottom right. It's not a rabbit, it's a man with a rabbit helmet on, don't ask. Think Frank from Donnie Darko. And he keeps going through saying, we will do this, we will get out. I love the way he uses the word we when he doesn't lift a finger to help, even though he can levitate, or at least I assume he can levitate, winky winky. And he can teleport and all sorts of shit, but he doesn't lift a finger to help. But let's dive in. We're on the third boss, because loads of people have done boss 1 and 2 on YouTube already. And I wanted to show you something a bit different, so I ploughed through to the third level boss, who is just as hard. Right, this is the third level boss. As you can see, he has multiple levels of shield, and the only way to get the shield down is to hit it with your gun. Because if you try to use your sword, you can't do bugger all. And for some reason the gun is bound to the right stick. I can assume that's only for the purpose of annoying me, because on many occasions while playing through this, the camera has decided to focus on the boss and not the character, or the wall and not the character. So, trying to actually play this becomes a Herculean task at times, especially when the camera doesn't respond. And speaking of unresponsive, I have on several occasions had completely unresponsive controls. I've tried to use a dodge move, dodge button doesn't work. I've tried to use the parry, parry doesn't work. And for once I can confirm it's not just me being shit at games, although that does play a large factor. Many other people, especially YouTubers, have also complained about the lack of responsive. See, I just tried to hit the dodge button, didn't work. So I had to kind of eat that flame wave. Not exactly what I would call fun. It seems that this game relies on precognition. You have to know the attack is coming before the attack is coming! That was quite freaky. And yet this is just phase 1, and as you can see, this game seems to take some of its inspiration from bullet hell shooters, because there's a lot of projectiles. You can, of course, if you time your parry correctly, which I just didn't, bounce the bullets back. However, it's far easier just to try and dodge them in the early stages. It is also possible for your gun to sometimes destroy bullets, although it's not exactly clear how many shots those bullets take to be destroyed. And like I said, this is phase 1. How do you know how many phases it's got? Look under his health bar. Those little squares dictate how many phases this boss has. He has 4. Right, we've got him out of phase 1. I'm officially doing better at this than I am at other attempts. Oh, okay, so I've got to use... What's he doing? Not cool! Not cool! Yeah, I'm officially doing better this time than I have any other of my attempts at this boss. And I've done a few to get some training down, but oh my god, do these bosses take a long time. A lot of people say it's harder to play games and commentate. But by the looks of things, I'm better when trying to commentate. I don't even understand why. Strictly speaking, that's illogical. Right, that was a health pickup. Every so often, the bosses will spit out a projectile that, when destroyed, will drop a health pickup. But those are very few and far between, so you want to get them when you can. Right, that was me bouncing an attack back. And you'll notice under my health bar, there are 3 blue pips. Because this game uses a live system of sorts. If you die during a boss's phase, then you will revive with full health, but so will the boss, but it will be locked in the phase you died in. Health, thank you. No, no, bastard! Right, now we know his attack patterns, we can do this. Right, you build your Tower of Hell, no. See, evade key did not work again. That health's now gone off the level. That sucks. The only thing I will say is there's no colorblind mode in this. So it's hard to tell which ones actually have health in and which ones are just going to destroy you. A colorblind mode would be nice considering how colorful this game is. And it is very colourful. Right, it's red. Right, he's in the red. He's in the red phase. Of his Tower of... Hell no! And he's become much more aggressive. Right.
And thus the cycle ends. We shall meet again.
You can't dodge this and you can't parry it. What the hell? I mean, the parry timing is very specific, as it is in most games with a parrying system. And I can get behind that. I mean, I had to learn to parry in Dark Souls to defeat Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, so I shouldn't have too much trouble learning to parry in this. However, this seems to take more of the Metal Gear Rising Revengeance kind of parrying, which doesn't work half the time. That's a health, which I've immediately lost. Arsehole bosses. That's what this game is all about, arsehole bosses. And the dodge button didn't work again. Can I get in there with a sword on this one? Yes. Okay. We've learned something.
Don't give up. Keep trying. You write your own story.
And yes, that message that you get when you fail changes every single time you defeat a boss, so it's always themed to the boss. In the case of this boss, he's supposedly a master of time. Right, we'll give it one more go at this. Because while Furi is hard, I want to say it's fair, but sometimes it's just not. Like I said, with the controls not working half the time, it's not really what I would consider to be fair at all. At least that isn't. And there are some bosses that require perfect parrying, and some bosses that require, like, perfect dodging and stuff. And you can't get perfection if the controls aren't perfect. Or is that just me? I mean, I know people have beaten, like, ridiculously hard games with weird controllers. Like, the Dark Souls Guitar Hero thing drove me nuts watching that. It was like, how the hell are you doing this? That is a level of skill I could never dream of. But I would love to see someone try and beat this with a Guitar Hero controller. Because while it is entirely possible, the requirement of analog stick for your gun would make using the Guitar Hero controller almost impossible. Because you can run one direction and shoot in another, let's put it that way. It is entirely possible to do that. And this game does get very, very tense at times. I'll have that health, thank you. I saw that one sneaking around. Bollocks! I went the wrong way there, that was my own fault then. The dodge move did work, but I dodged into the attack rather than away from it. Right, I'm in kind of a good spot. No, I'm not. Yeah, every time I find a good spot to shoot from, that wave will hit me. That's not cool. That is not cool at all. Right, we're out of phase 1. Why is it I'm better at this when I'm commentating than when I'm playing in absolute silence with maximum focus? Ah, so you can parry it. It's just really, really hard. Right, so if I can get him down to the red zone, then, theory, I should be able to bollocks going with my sword. And that shows you the sword combat. The sword combat is a basic 4-move combo. However, you can charge your sword. So you can do a sort of charged attack thing, which I might try this time.
We shall meet again. At the beginning.
Okay, right, so we'll try the charged sword attack this time. Oh, yes, parrying like a pro. Right, charged sword. Nope, that doesn't help because I was in the fire. Okay, the charged sword does also help as a dodge type thing, because while you're sprinting through, you can't take damage from incoming attacks. Right, so this one's definitely a melee focus section. Whilst dodging all that crap. Okay, noted. This is going to be tricky, isn't it? Yeah, the last boss, by the way, had 6 phases. And that was way, way harder to figure out. Because the attacks kept changing all the time, which was not cool. But you also have a charged shot. Bless me. Sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit. And I dodged right into it. And I don't think you guys want to watch me suffer anymore through this, because it's just going to be the same repeating over and over again. And I think I've said all I need to say about Furi. It's very, very pretty. It's very, very hard. And oh my god, do you feel rewarding when you get that last phase of a boss down. Because you could have been playing for 4 hours against the same boss as I was. And when you get to that last phase and you take them down, you feel so good. One thing I didn't mention, though, is the close quarters combat. During the final stage of a boss, normally, I can't say the same for him because I've knocked him out of one phase without having to do it, but normally it's the end of every phase. You go into a close quarters situation where you're trapped in a ring with the boss. You have no gun at that point. It's all melee. And I think that's a really nice way to shake up the combat a bit, because when you're forced to only use your parry and your sword, when you could have been plinking away with your gun for ages, the gun's pretty weak, but you can get a lot of range on it, and that's kind of handy for avoiding some of those big bullshit attacks. But I think that's a really good way to mix up the combat in this, and I think they've done an amazing job with it. It's very, very tough and very tense, and the music adds so much more to it. Some of the bosses are voice acted, some aren't, but the ones that aren't are insane. And for example, the female boss on level 2 had what looked like a security camera surgically implanted into her face. So of course she couldn't talk. But so far the voice acting I have found has been pretty damn stellar. While the protagonist is silent, the bosses most certainly are not. Nor is Rabbit Sensei. And that's about all I have to say about Furi, apart from the fact that it makes me furious. So thank you all for watching, and until I see you again, I've been Salis. Goddamn Furi! And I will see you next time.